Almost all governments borrow. Almost all of them borrow. And as long as the borrowings aren't excessive, borrowings can actually be helpful. They can help develop a country. When borrowings become excessive, however, when a government borrows too much, it can actually cause incredible economic damage to a country. Now, we've seen this play itself out all over the world, including in Europe, in Asia, in North and South America, and definitely on our own continent in Africa as well. And the result is always the same. It's economically catastrophic. Now, the academic studies have shown that a government can borrow up to 3% of its GDP to supplement their budgets and deficits. If it's borrowing at 3% or less, it can do that on an enduring or ongoing basis, and it doesn't compromise the economy drastically. If a government starts to borrow in excess of 3% of GDP, it ends up becoming unsustainable. What do we mean by that? As the government borrows more and more money, the levels of debt increase. And because it's got higher debt levels, a lot more money goes to paying interest. And if a lot more money is going towards paying interest and servicing the debt, the government ends up having to cut down on other priorities, things like healthcare or education or the police. In addition to that, if the government is borrowing excessively, it tends to limit the amount of funding that's available to the private sector, because they also want to borrow money to expand their businesses. If the government is borrowing excessively, there's far less money for the private sector to borrow. Now, it may take many years of excessive borrowing by a government and a country before it catches up to them, but it always catches up to them. That is the experience of Zimbabwe, that is the experience of Greece, that is the experience of South Africa, that is the experience of the United States. If a government borrows too much, it always catches up to that country with very, very painful economic and social consequences.